Hi guys, I am Nikhil Shivraj from Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering, Bengaluru, from fourth semester. Our today's subject is 8051 microcontroller, and the subject code is BEC 405A from the Department of Electronics and Communication. And our today's topic is programming timer interrupts with assembly language only. Introduction to timer interrupts. Timer interrupts allow for precise timing in microcontroller programming. They can be used to trigger specific actions at regular intervals. So, the timer interrupts are commonly used in real time systems and applications. Basics of timer interrupts. Timer interrupts are generated by a timer module with the microcontroller. The timer module counts up from an initial value to a preset value, triggering an interrupt when it reaches that value. So the timer can be configured to run in different modes such as periodic or one shot. Setting up timer interrupts. To set up a timer interrupt, the programmer needs to configure the timer registers, which involves setting the initial value, the preset value, and the interrupt enable bit. And additionally, the interrupt service routine, which is also known as ISR, needs to be defined to handle the interrupt. So here there are the timers. Timer 0 is 8-bit, timer 1 is 16-bit, and timer 2 is 8-bit. Programming timer interrupts in assembly language. In assembly language, the programmer needs to write code to configure the timer registers. So to involve, so this involves loading values into specific memory addresses to set up the timer. The ISR must be written in assembly language to handle the interrupt. Timer interrupt priority. So the timer interrupts can have different priority levels in some microcontrollers. It differs in between microcontrollers. So the higher priority interrupts can interrupt lower priority interrupts. It is important to consider the priority of timer interrupts when designing real-time systems. So here there is there are priorities from 1 to 7. So the total priority 1 to 7 interrupts that don't call any API functions can use any priority and will nest. And from priority 1 to 3 is interrupts that make API calls can only use these priorities, can nest also. And after that, it is from priority 4 to priority 7, which interrupts using these priorities will never be delayed by anything the camel is doing, can nest but cannot use any free trust API functions. Handling timer overflow. Timer interrupts can also be used to handle timer overflow events. When the timer reaches its maximum value, an overflow interrupt can be triggered. The ISR can be used to reset the timer and handle the overflow events. Here is the diagram, which consists of processor clock, another clock, the MUX multiplexer, down counter, modulus, the control, current value, and interrupt controller. Time sensitive applications. Time interrupts are crucial for time sensitive applications such as controlling motor speed or reading sensor data. Precise timing is essential in these applications to ensure accurate control and data acquisition. Timer interrupts provide a reliable way to achieve this level of precision. Debugging interrupts. Debugging timer interrupts can be challenging due to their timing sensitive nature. Tools such as logic analyzers and simulators can help in debugging timer interrupts issues. Careful code review and testing are essential to ensure the correct operation of timer interrupts. Here is an example of debugging timer interrupts. Best practices for timer interrupts programming. Follow a clear naming convention for timer interrupt related variables and functions. Document the timer interrupt setup and ISR thoroughly to aid in maintenance and troubleshooting. Test the timer interrupt functionality under various conditions to ensure its reliability. So programming timer interrupts. If timer interrupt bit in IE register is enabled, whenever the timer rolls over, TF flag is set and the 8051 is interrupted. The interrupt service routine for timer can be placed at interrupt vector location if it is small enough, or elsewhere using proper redirection at interrupt vector location. So we have discussed about all the topics. Now let's get to the conclusion. Timer interrupts are a powerful tool in microcontroller programming for precise timing. Understanding the basics of setting up and programming timer interrupts is very essential for developing real-time applications. By following best practices and thorough testing, timer interrupts can enhance the functionality and performance of microcontroller based systems. Thank you.